Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, but today this is going to be a reading. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use Kipper. I might use different, I might use a Linneman or whatever as I get going. You guys know me, I kind of switch things up. You know, it works that way when you open a can of worms. Anyway, I'm going to read on how Donald Trump will do with the grand jury investigation, and to see like how he's going to fare, you know, by himself. And then I'm also going to look at how Trump.org or Incorporated, whatever, is going to fare. And then each one of the adult children, and I'm going to take them separately. So there won't be any... we won't have to try and figure out like who's who, right? I'm going to focus in on each one individually, and I'll go as quickly as I can, but I definitely want to be thorough, so I'll try to, I will commit to time stamping each person, okay? So I'll do that. All right, let me get the camera dropped down and get started. Okay, so I'm using the Kipper deck. One of my dear subscribers emailed me this morning with, her name's Lulu, and she's living in Belgium, or she is Belgian, and she's living in Flanders, North Belgium, I guess. Okay, and she says her second language is French. I'm looking at her email now. And she speaks it regularly with a friend that lives about 10 to 15 kilometers away. So she was kind enough to give me a little recording where she, spoke in her own voice. And she says to pronounce it fin de siècle, something like that, fin de siècle. Okay, I'm still practicing, but thank you so much for that, Lulu. I really appreciate it. And that's the deck I'm going to use. I've chosen this deck because it's the best for legal matters. And first I'm going to focus in on, well, I haven't even figured out, I might need to, yeah, hold up a moment. I have to lift the camera a little bit. Give me a second. Okay, this should do it. We'll see. So first I'm going to focus in on the Trump organization. I want to know what the grand jury investigation, what effect will the grand jury investigation, and I'm going to let it go, it can go beyond the 6 months, because I've heard so much on the news recently about how the investigation could go. So let's just let it go beyond the 6 months if it needs to. I'm not going to assign any time here. The cards will tell me if it's going to take, much, much longer, I think. But let's just look at, first I'm going to do Trump organization, then I'm going to do Trump himself, then Don Jr., then Eric, and then Ivanka. And like I said, I will put timestamps for each person. I'll do my best to remember that. Okay, so Trump organization. So the whole organization itself, Trump Incorporated. What effect will the grand jury investigation have on Trump organization? On the entity of the organization itself. There's Trump. That might be Weisselberg. This one here. Okay. So I can always layer over if we need more cards. And I'm going to let this reading be as long as it needs to be, because I'm trying to not rush over and skate past any important details that might come through. And I love it, you guys, when those of you who know about Kipper or get an intuitive hit, regardless if you know anything about any of the cards, I absolutely love it when you give me your wisdom. In the comments, it helps. It helps me. It helps us all, I think. I just absolutely love my community here. Okay, so for the Trump org, we have the theme of the fraudulent organization. The house card is obviously telling me, it's speaking to me as the organization itself, and it is a fraudulent organization. Wow. I mean, we knew that, but it's so nice to see it. I mean, sheesh. This card is all about dishonesty. It's all about cheating. It's about tax evasion. It's about operating under false pretenses. It's, the deception. Now, the mature woman that popped in here, that I don't know yet who she is. Maybe I'll get a hit. But I'm positive that this is the Trump organization here and all of its fraudulent resources, or fraudulent ways of operation. Now let's see, the false person or the fraud. No, it's not going to be a person. This is the organization. The fraud. Knights over here to Trump. I'm guessing that this is Weisselberg and all of the years he's been with Trump to, keep the dirty deeds going. And the adjudication card, the false person or the fraudulent Trump organization, knights over to the adjudication card, which is all about being investigated. It's about having your taxes investigation. This is tax audits. This is a demand upon the organization. I think we could just go like this. And yeah, but there's more there, so I'll get into that. So anyway, the demand to come before, I would say, this investigation, to come before the grand jury investigation. And the thing I learned by listening to, it was on Lawrence, I want to say he had Lawrence Tribe, but it was Lawrence O'Donnell who had Lawrence Tribe on his show. But anyway, it might have been somewhere before that it came out that anybody who goes before a grand jury investigation, and I'm thinking this is Weisselberg, and whoever this woman is here, they're automatically granted immunity just by giving testimony. And they might even be able to get even a little bit more than immunity. They might be able to get some type of protection. So that was an interesting piece of information that came out. And it reminded me that Weisselberg was granted immunity when he gave testimony for Cohen's trial. So there's that. So of course he'll do it again. Of course he'll flip, and that's come through in the other grand tableau. I'm pretty sure that came through. Yes, of course it did. So back to this adjudication card here. And I read directionally, so adjudication's here, and this could be looked at as, I often read this last card as an answer card when it comes through very clearly. So the answer is yes, the grand jury investigation will bring in demands. There may be some disputes, of course, but at the end of the day, this card means that someone else makes a decision against the perpetrators, and they can appeal, they can dispute all they want, but at the end of the day, when the IRS comes down with a ruling, and when there's been bank fraud and tax fraud, or I'm sorry, bank fraud and insurance fraud, when all those fraudulent documents come through, what happens is that they have the last say. They don't get to continue appealing. So, reading directionally, with the journey card, that brings us into the movement of something, right? The movement, the progress. So this tells me that this investigation will bring progress. They will be investigating into Trump org and the fraud, and Weisselberg will be a key player in that, and it's all moving towards Trump. And because these two cards mirror each other, of course, it's telling us there's the investigation into Trump as well. Now, the toil and labor card and mirroring the Lovers card, that's interesting because the Lovers, toil and labor is about, not someone who doesn't make much money. So because it's next to this mature woman, this could be somebody that comes forward who worked for the Trump organization, who didn't remember. Well, run a graph. I don't know if it would be her because she's she was just Trump's executive assistant, but it could be her because she's an older woman who was supportive. Now, this could also be an older woman who was supportive of Weisselberg. So anybody can go and testify if they choose to. So this tells me right here there will be somebody from Trump organization who worked and didn't make a lot of money and maybe is resentful of that, and they will be revealing some things. Because what's on the back side of this card is what is fake and false, being revealed. And on this other side, it shows what was, what's to come of it. So with this unexpected income card here being on the other side and mirroring, whoever this woman is. Now, if it's not a woman, this card can be the stand-in for any supportive person in both of these, the mature woman and the mature man. They can both be the stand-ins for for supportive people within the organization. But this coming through tells me that there will be support to get to this place, to get to this adjudication, to get to this judgment. Because this isn't the court card, it's the judgment card. Now, this unexpected money or unexpected income coming in, this has to do with this fraudulent organization. This isn't a person at this point. This is this fraudulent organization, but it's under Donald John Trump, was given this, what will come through in the grand jury investigation against Trump organization will bring out the information that there were bonuses, insurance payouts or insurance benefits, business contracts. What else could this be? Just any type of improvement that went back into his pocket, of course, but also benefited whoever these people are. And they worked at it for a long time. I don't know if I would think Weisselberg got a lot out of it, but whoever this woman is did not. If it is a woman, this could be people, like I'm saying, it could be supportive people who will come out and say, hey, he did this and this and this, and they got that and that and that, and I didn't. But this would be, bank loans. This would be, any type of rewards and improvements that a person could get. This could be cash, cash payouts, grants, just any type of profit that a business could get. It's all going to come out that it was fraudulent, that it was fraudulently received. So the Lover's card, that brings in the loyalty and the end of problems, but it's the end of problems for this judicial process because these people are going to come out and talk, is what I just heard. Okay, don't need to go any further into that. All right, let me reshuffle here. I don't know that you can riffle the, oh yeah, I guess you can. They're kind of stiff, but I just want to make sure that they're shuffled really well. Okay. So Donald John Trump himself, how will the grand jury investigation... Oh wait, let me write down, hold on, timestamp here. Trump himself, well, I'm going to say 13 minutes, somewhere in there. Okay. Hope I remember to do that on the other people. Okay. Donald John Trump. How will this grand jury investigation affect you? And I will go along with psychological affect, physical, financial effects, all the ways. Let the cards show all the ways that Trump will be affected. Affected. By the grand jury investigation. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Might draw some more if I can, or if I need, I should say. So for our theme here, we have the investigation right here. That's a major investigation card. Watching him, but we have to remember this is I think primarily talking about his future. The psychological affect is right here. Physical effect is right here. If he's not actually locked up, if he doesn't actually do jail time or prison time, in a cushy white-collar prison, he will at least be restricted. This is a card of restriction at the very least. It's your own self-created prison. It would mean that he does not run for president in 2024. It means he's done. So, okay, right here, here's the major theme for him. He's going to be waiting. He's going to be surveilled. He's going to be unable to act. Of course he could go in and testify, but I don't know that he would. Let me think. Here's another thing that it just popped into my head. The grand jury investigation, any grand jury investigation, is secret. So we might not hear anything about it unless people who testify go on, like, let's say, Ari Melber's show, on MSNBC, or any of the other shows on MSNBC, and they say, hey, I testified, and here's what I said, and unless they're told that they can't speak, but they can speak somewhat. That's why, Jennifer Weisselberg has come out already and said a few things, but then she's, kind of pulls back when she knows that it's a little too much to say anything more. Michael Cohen's there. Who else has been? Who am I missing? Oh, I don't know. Those were the two that stuck in my mind. Okay, but anyway. So what's hanging over Trump is just this inability to act. He's just waiting to see what happens. And it's usually a card of something that goes on for 3 months. But, it can go way past. It can go at 6 months' time, it can be renewed if need be. But then again, this card may be showing us the past where for the last 2 years, they've had so much information. And you don't take a civil probe and turn it into a criminal probe without the evidence. So this may go faster than we think or than we're expected. Because, again, I read directionally, and it's going backwards in time. This is my Yes, It's Official card that my friend Lisette taught me. And it's also the card of rules and regulations, obligations. It's a political card as well. And it's a card of responsibility. So he's expecting to have to take responsibility. And, the rules are there. And it's been, simply, the investigation is official, and it has been official, and it has been going on for the last 2 years. This card often represents 2 years. It's persistent. This card is like long-term. And they have the documentation to back it up. And he knows that. They have his tax returns, and he knows that. And he is, pardon me, shitting bricks. He's having major problems. This is that card I always say, the thing I remember most about is that you're tortured with worry. Like 9 of Swords in the tarot. You don't sleep well. Serious, serious problems. It's a card of self-destruction. It's a card of violence. It's a card of demands being put on you. And he's expecting to be locked up for it. Okay. He's waiting for the documents to be, he knows they have them, so it's, yeah. Anyway, psychological affect, physical effect. Psychological affect is shitting bricks. Physical effect could be imprisonment. If not, it's at least being restricted from probably owning any type of an organization, at least in the state of New York, ever again. And it could also be being restricted from any type of political position, because these cards touch each other right here. The official person and the rules and regs, the military official, it touches the imprisonment card. Remember, political restriction. And we're seeing why. We've got that same card again that we had in Trump Organization. And this journey card is showing the movement of money. And it's also showing foreign money. The movement of foreign money. Whomever this mature man is, I'm not sure. We're just going to have to wait and see. And again, this card it could be just anybody who supports. Well, it's possible because it's next to this foreign influence card. This is the card of it's called like hope, great water usually, or hope and yearning. And it means something from a foreign country. It also means, like being kind of global. And maybe, I mean, because I've seen this before, and I know many of my friends who are readers out there, yeah, we've all seen this. Maybe he tries to flee to a foreign country, and this supportive person here is Putin. It's very possible. I mean, it knights over here to this card of being watched. He's been in bed with Putin for years and years and years, and since at least the 80s. Who knows if maybe even before that, because this could be his father who was involved in the Russian mafia, was the Genovese family, was Italian mafia before that, and then Russia always gets in there and takes, or Putin and the oligarchs. I should never say Russia, because I don't mean anything about the Russian people at all. But these oligarchs and Putin, that's right here. And restriction is coming their way as well. So there's a lot that's going to come out. But this movement of money to and from foreign lands, and this supportive person, this could be the stand-in for Russian oligarchs as well as Putin. So this is the physical effect on Trump. Restriction. He might have to run away to a foreign land if he wants to stay out of prison or do any jail time, prison time in America. He may, if it's not what he physically does, it's what he is thinking about. Yeah, because this card is all about, longing. It's also a card of drugs and alcohol. Because, it's a card of spirituality, but if you have no spirituality, or to the degree that you have no spirituality, you're deluded usually. And usually there's drugs involved in order to get, because these two cards are mirroring here. So he's, and the sleepless nights, of course, he's using drugs to try and get himself to sleep. And when an addict is an addict, they usually switch methods to accommodate whatever they need. So if drugs don't work anymore, you'll go to alcohol, things like that. So I would never say, just because he said he never drank or done drugs, he's a liar. We all know he lies. So anyway, with this card being what he dreams about, what he wants, tells me he wants to escape, and he wants somebody in a foreign country to support him. That's his psychological affect, and it might be a physical effect that may happen. He may get away, go to another country. But then again, let's ask, would he, if he tries to go to another country, would he be stopped? Well, I mean, this is the biggest stoppage card we have in the deck. Might be something better left read on later, but let's see. Yeah, there's with the courthouse, that is absolutely pressing charges against him. It's also a public agency, which could be like anywhere. Mature woman. I don't know who that would be. Yeah, when the shit hits the fan. I'm sorry, I'm cussing so much today. Yeah, about the fraud. Well, he's definitely going to want to. But that was already... Yeah, but then again, his health. This will end him. This will end him. This could be his Alzheimer's, dementia. It will definitely end his reputation, that's for darn sure. Create massive change in his life. So, this is one of those things where a person's free will is so tied up in the situation that you cannot predict. It's kind of like when I did that first reading on Derek Chauvin. Okay, let's do a timestamp here. 27:45 will be for Don Jr. Okay. Yeah, when I did the first Derek Chauvin reading, I remember I ended up stopping and saying I can't get it. I can't get anything because too many things were up in the air. But then all the specialist, the pulmonary specialist, what was his name? Something with a T. I don't know. Anyway, then all this testimony came out for a week, and then I read again, and then I got clearly, yeah, he was going to be going to prison, and I got that he might die in prison. Because I had the, let's see if I can get back to it. With Derek Chauvin, I for sure had the imprisonment card. Come on, I had the coffin card, but before it was this card. Okay, so let's get Derek Chauvin out of my brain and focus on Don Jr. God. Crack pipe. See the guy with a crack pipe in his mouth. Oh, okay. How will this grand jury investigation affect psychological affect and physical effect on Don Jr.? All right, right there. All right, I don't know what that has to do with it, but I think I'm going to have to layer over to get more about him. No problem. Okay. All right, I apologize for the little bit of glare I've got going on here. It's a very dark, cloudy day, and I'm having to use lights above. Okay, good enough. Get things lined up perfectly. Okay, so Don Jr., he's been, well, this probably has more to do with just his family position of being, being in on the gift. This gift card has to do with support and help, and it's often a card of like a younger child. So this tells me like once he was a certain age, his father said, yeah, you're, just it's basically, it's kind of like he's married into the mob. This is a card of partnership. This marriage card is a card of partnership. And it's also, business, of course, business partnership. So from a young age, these two cards tell me together, from a young age, he was in a tight relationship with his dad. Whether or not his dad loved him as much as he does, daddy's little girl, Ivanka, we can see that Don Jr. said, I'll be your man, I'll be your right-hand man. And this is Trump Organization here, we've already established from the other reading. And this, Don Jr. gave him the gift that would keep on giving by being the fraudulent person that he needed to be for his father. But what's coming down for him, because remember, primarily all these readings are about the future. So the way the investigation is going to go down for Don Jr. is that he will be he will be recognized as the major business partner. And with adjudication card, they will be deciding his future for him. There will be some type of demand put upon him. And so all the things that Trump is being investigated and Trump Org are being investigated, Don Jr. will as well, because this could even be his family. With the Lover's card up here, knighting over to this business partnership, what will come out is all the success and, loyalty, but it's all fraudulent. And everything that he received, it's all going to come out. Now, this courtship card here is about meetings. So it could be that this could step outside. Well, I'll look at it both ways, but I just feel like this could be stepping outside of even the grand jury investigation and into the Russian investigation, because this could stand in for any Trump Tower, and we have to remember that Don Jr. was, just because he didn't get busted for it before, when there was that Russian investigation into Trump, it could finally bring out where Don Jr. was in that Trump Tower meeting. And remember, there was what was that guy? Oh, shoot. I forget those. There was that one really heavyset guy who was a DJ in another country. And then there was that Vessel, what was her name? Victoria something, Vessel. Oh, I can't even pronounce her last name. There was a gal, and and Hope Hicks was there, and they tried to play it off as they were talking about Russian adoptions. Well, it was a big lie, big lie. The meeting, this fraudulent meeting, that's going to be investigated as well. And the pings that kept going into to a server in Trump Tower from overseas, that was all part of it too. So maybe that might come out. But anyway, what this little dude has coming in his future is, now this is his wife. So I don't know if, he's with Kimberly Guilfoyle, but, the crazy banshee. He's coked up, people. My goodness. But his ex-wife, that divorced him with 5 kids, the guy had to have just been so awful. Who gets a divorce when you have 5 kids? Well, only somebody who is awful to live with. And because she knights over here to the adjudication card, this, I think, is his ex-wife. I don't know that Kimberly Guilfoyle is. Maybe this is Kimberly Guilfoyle. There's that possibility. But this could also be Ivanka. Because this is like a sister card. So, now on another level, because the marriage card is hitting here, this main female, I really do feel like it's his divorced ex-wife. She may have some information. She may come forward in the grand jury investigation. I wonder, because these 2 cards together, my goodness. You know, this is a card of pressing charges, and this could be her pressing charges. I really doubt Kimberly Guilfoyle will be popping in pressing any charges. So this main female has to be his ex-wife. I don't know why she would pop in and give away any details, because money coming to her would flow from him in child support. So I wouldn't think she would want to to stop that flow. But then again, maybe she has a lot of integrity, and maybe it doesn't matter to her where maybe she's got her own thing going on. Maybe she's an independent female, and or maybe she brings a lawsuit against him, because these cards here talk about that, the marriage, the lawsuit, and a court case. Interesting. Let's see if I can get some more on this little guy. Okay, I'm just going to draw cards and see what happens. Yeah, something's okay. Wow. Okay, so yes, it's official. The fraudulent gifts from the past are going to come out. Yes. And it will end him. This is all the future. It will end him. Now, this is a card of divorce. Right here over the marriage and over to her. So I could be wrong, but it looks to me like there's going to be some type of information given by her, by his ex-wife, and maybe it has to do with the fact, or maybe I can't say the fact because I don't really know, but maybe Don Jr. hasn't been paying his child support like he should, and she's having to try and make ends meet in any way that she can, so she doesn't mind. Maybe she's threatening him to go forward if she doesn't get her money. Because this card is all about, the family room card is about something that happens very soon, and it happens, it can be 1 day to 1 month as far as timing goes, but it's also a card of, your intimate personal space. That's interesting. So I think it's going to end him, and it's going to bring him to that place where he's worried about having any type of money. Because we have to remember, with Trump organization, assets will be seized, and then money flow stops. And Trump won't be able to run for president again. And these people, at least Don Jr. so far, I can say, it's over for him. It's official. It's over for him. No more money flow. This card ends the money flow and puts him into a place where he has to work for a living. And it affects all of his intimate relationships. So, okay, that's Don Jr. So now let's go to, somewhere around 40, I'll say 41 minutes, and let's look at Eric. Okay. All right. I'll try to shuffle these as thoroughly as I can. Okay, Eric. Oh, my sick brain, I swear. I say the word Eric, and I think of Stephen Colbert shoving his lip up above his gums and imitating Eric. Dad, but Dad. Okay, I'm gonna stop. All right. How will the grand jury investigation affect, psychological affect, physical effect on Eric Trump? Okay. Okay, I might have to layer over a little bit more with this one. Okay. Okay, let me change this timestamp. It's actually 40, let's say 42 minutes. Okay. All right. So, it's official. The rules and regulations that will affect his future success. There's going to be documents that show the money that's been given to him. He's definitely going to be called into court, but then again, we have to remember all the kids have been deposed. I don't know if Don Jr. gave a deposition or not, or what happened there. I know Ivanka and Eric both have, but I think that had to do with that foundation that they were investigated for. You know, Trump Foundation is no longer a thing. And they were fined $2 million because they stole from a children's charity, Children's Cancer Foundation. Doesn't get much lower than that, does it? Okay, but anyway, yes, it's official. The rules and regulations in place. He will be held as a responsible party for the success that he received. There's documentation to support it, maybe even taped, recorded recordings to support it. Yes, he's going to be dragged into court. Whether or not he says anything, he might plead the fifth, or he might not show up, but there's a court case coming down on him, whether he likes it or not, and he will have charges pressed against him. Now, and this could be some important discovery of documents or recordings, and yes, they have them. It has to do with his risk level and money that came to him without him having to do a thing, you know. It will affect his inheritance. It will affect his ability to earn in the future. And he's really worried about it. He's obsessively thinking about it. He's feeling very helpless and depressed. In fact, he's having a hard time even concentrating. And he's worried mostly, because it knights over here to the high honor card, he's worried mostly about his reputation, you know, because these guys they're not too old, and he's probably thinking about his entire future. But this is going to bring them down. This whole thing is going to bring the whole family down. They are not going to be seen, when this is done, they are not going to be seen as, it's only the people who will drink the Kool-Aid. It's not going to be well. And it's not going to be well for his marriage. High honors card here brings in him thinking about his old age even. But mostly his, reputation and future career. And it's moving. His future career is moving to more and more investigation. As far as great fortune, I don't know. There's movement. Yeah, all this, it's like all the money that's tied in. Investigation for a very long time. It's going to affect him for a very long time. Oh, it's going to bring in his connection with foreign players. Yeah. Interesting. This could be even Jared. Oh, his intimate, yeah, like intimate family. Right there, same thing as with, so it looks to me like whatever comes down the pike for him is not as bad. It's not as bad as Don Jr.'s, but it's bad enough. Okay. Yeah, let's look at Ivanka quickly. She might be the brightest one of the bunch. I mean, she does have a business degree. Make sure these are all upright. She actually did graduate from Wharton. Okay, Ivanka. Oops. Something's going to be concerning her for a long time if those cards that flipped over are true. Ivanka. I don't think I need to include Jared in this. Because I imagine she had a prenup. She's smart enough to have had a prenup with him. He's got his own sick, twisted thing going on, so I feel like leaving him out of it. But let me focus on her. Ivanka. Her future. Ivanka. Interesting. Wow, that's surprising. Okay. Let's see, so about 48 minutes on her. Okay, all right. Well, it's going to affect her to the point where she's having lots of meetings with people to protect her reputation and shore up her financial future. This is her. Excuse me. And yeah, she's just thinking more about her money. She's smart, you know. I mean, that's the thing. She's not that smart, but she's educated. She's not wise. She's educated. Much completely different flow comes through people who are wise. Education ain't all of it. Okay. All right, let go of that. So this great fortune card here brings in opportunities for her. She might grow on the inner levels because of this. Maybe this will be a valuable lesson for her. But she's going to be meeting with other people who she thinks would influence and support her, with her success. She's worried mostly about her. She's worried mostly about her reputation. She's going to receive some really sad news, really bad news, that's going to stress her out terribly. It's going to be a confrontation. She's going to be confronted herself. And it has to do mostly with the money, her ability to earn in the future. And it's going to affect her inheritance. This is the inheritance card here. And then she's worried about her children, I think. She's thinking more about her children. The movement goes, though, from something small towards her. I'm not really seeing a whole lot here. I don't think she's going to go to jail. I think it's Don Jr. and Eric who've been running Trump Organization, because remember she's part of the she was part of the Trump administration. She was his advisor. She was her father's advisor. But the investigation into her is still going to continue on. The movement of the investigation will continue on. So she's going to be watched still. And then this poverty card here. So it's not, I don't see her going to jail, I don't think, but I do see her losing money. Well, of course, she's going to be losing her, yeah. With this, with the court proceedings, she's going to, with the investigations, the demands on Trump organization, she's going to lose her inheritance. Now that's Jared. Okay. Yeah, he's not going to do so well either. Wow. So what she has coming down the pike for her is I don't see jail time or anything like that. I see her losing money, and I see people defrauding her or trying to defraud her. Maybe people who have worked for her and Jared bring out some information about what frauds they are. Some new information. That's possible. But this poverty card knighting up here to her, whatever this great fortune card, that's not good. Yeah, I don't see her being happy in the future, and I don't see her, but I also don't see her going to jail or anything like that. I'm just gonna have to watch and wait on that one, and I don't see her reputation being good at all. And she's tied to her husband, and that's a problem for her. Interesting. Well, not really. It's pretty easy to figure that out. Unless she leaves him, but I don't know. It might be that their kids is what holds them together, too. It might be that their children hold them together. Okay. Well, I'm done. At least with this for now. So thanks, you guys, for hanging in there. Okay. Take care. Bye.